Howdy friends, welcome to Kalimdor Cast, the first podcast of the WoW-focused community, Classic Azeroth. Happy to have you here. Now, originally, as we put this podcast together, we had another one of our admins named Obi. You might have seen, if you're on our Facebook group, you might have seen some of his posts. He was originally going to be here with us, and we had a whole thing planned out, and then we found out yesterday that, I don't know how this snuck up on him, but his nephew is likely to be born today. And so, as you imagine, that is a terrible excuse, but we're happy for him.
You should have just held it in.
Oh, Obi's probably going to be watching this. Sorry about that, Obi. But he's not currently going to be with us, so we really wanted to do this podcast. It's our first time doing it, so we actually had a different approach. So we just decided to do me and JJ Fett, and just the two of us do this podcast. JJ Fett's here with us. If you want to say hi.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
And he's another one of our admins for the Facebook group. And of course, you probably know me from some of the videos. If you've seen him before, I'm Cabe, and we are happy to be here and do this podcast for you. Awesome. So glad you were able to get everything together and join this really quickly, JJ Fett. Hopefully that wasn't too much of a hassle.
No, it was good.
Currently,
Yeah.
Currently you have some people over, right?
Yeah, I have some family, so it was the biggest deal trying to find a room where no one's gonna bother me. So that was a conundrum.
Yeah, JJ's going on a cruise tomorrow, and with the family. I'm not, because I'm getting married in a few weeks, and so I'm going on that
And
cruise.
we didn't want him to come.
And I don't have enough days. We're brothers, by the way. I don't know if I disclosed that. We're brothers. He lives in Houston, I live in Dallas. He's down for the holidays for the summer for school. And so, anyway, they're going on a cruise, and so the whole family's there, about to go off on a boat. I'm going on a cruise in a few weeks, but for my honeymoon, so couldn't get enough days off to make it. I'm not the odd child in the family. But hey, enough about our family problems. So, you were able to get a setup. So where are you right now?
So yeah, I'm in Houston, Texas right now.
Sitting on a bed, aren't you? You couldn't
Yeah,
get your
I'm on a
desk.
bed. I couldn't find a desk, but it's really nice because I got a nice pillow to lay back on, so I'm comfy.
Cool. Well, hey, there you go. I got my desk. I don't have any kids or family around me, so this is nice. But hey, so I wanted to begin this right now, and of course, as we are a podcast directed towards classic World of Warcraft, that's our our absolute favorite game. I wanted to just start this off, and obviously you and I know the history, but I want to ask you specifically, what is your history with World of Warcraft? Because I know it, but the people watching this do not.
So for me, it all started, I went to a friend's house and he had Warcraft, and I'm like, oh man, that looks pretty cool. He's like, yeah, you want to make a character? And I remember my first ever character was a Terran Warrior. His name was Taran.
How old were you though? Remember, we started back in the very end of vanilla. We started. So I'm 20.
Burn Crusade came out.
Yeah, Burn Crusade was about to come out. I'm 26 years old. I was 14 when that happened. I was 14 years old, and you were probably, that means you were probably 11?
11 or 10 or something, I remember. And I remember I would play that game so much, and he was hang out with me and let's go out and do something out in the yard. And I'm like, yeah, let me get to level 10 first. But
there you go.
That was the first experience. And then when we got it as a family, I remember I got a Tarn Shaman, and so that was where it was at. And I was a little bit more clever with my names. His name was Taurus. So
you named him Tarod. You probably just didn't think about it. You're like, Tarod.
I don't even know what I was thinking. I wasn't even thinking, let's have a spin-off of Taron. No, it was Taron. That's a good name.
So you picked a Terran Warrior. That's funny because I feel like most people's first character seems to always be the warrior. They seem to always pick the warrior.
It's always a warrior because I thought magic was stupid, and I just thought that the Tauren, I thought they were just the coolest looking things ever. I just thought, man, what a big dude! Like I don't want to go toe to toe with that guy, so I picked the Tauren. But I remember before that, Warcraft 2, Tides of Darkness. That's what I really grew up on, and so when World of Warcraft came out, or when I saw friends playing that, I was like, oh, that's my game. That looks really cool. But I fell in love with the orcs then.
Keep going.
But I never played.
It's my horde mug. Anytime I'm gaming or doing anything, I drink out of this. It's for good luck. Keep going. You say Warcraft. You said Warcraft 2?
Warcraft 2. I remember playing Warcraft 2, Tides of Darkness, and I'd play as the humans, and I was having a lot of fun. And then I played the orcs, and I was like, oh, these guys are just a little bit cooler. I
Yeah.
like them a little cooler. But
So
I
you're
loved.
you're diehard horde. I know all this, but
I'm
the people
diehard
watching
horde.
don't know this.
Yeah, for all of you, I'm diehard horde, but I'll give the alliance respect and everything. Everyone but night elves get all my respect. It's fine. Dwarves especially, but everyone but night elves. um, but after Warcraft 2, Vanilla came out, all that, and I had the blast with Vanilla. I actually skipped Warcraft 3. I never
Do you
played
know
Warcraft 3
why?
until after.
You know why we skipped Warcraft to 3? Because we didn't have a computer that
What?
can run it. So
That's
so
true.
you might remember, but we
Yep.
growing up, we had parents that were not they a computer was for sending emails and maybe checking a bank statement. That is what a computer did. Oh, and it did Word documents too. This was in the 90s,
Yeah.
mind you, the late 90s, and not when Warcraft 3 came out, but that's when my parents were like, oh, a computer has value. So they had a computer. It was a
Yeah.
Windows 95, and we found out from someone else that it could play Warcraft 2. And I knew about
Yeah.
this from friends. I'd seen it at their house, and so we started playing Warcraft 2. And of course, I fell in love with the game. I mean, just absolutely. Our parents knew
Oh.
what the word Warcraft meant because of that game. You say
Oh
Warcraft, and they
yeah.
go, "Oh, that game," because they just would catch us playing
That
it
game.
all the time. I've just played so much, and I too liked the Horde because if you might remember, we were playing this up into 2001, and the Lord of the Rings series came out. You might remember Lord of the Rings, the
Yeah.
trilogy came out, and and that caused a little bit of a shift. People who, because our friends played Warcraft as well, and because Lord of the Rings was out, nobody wanted to play Horde because they're like, I've been watching I watched Lord of the Rings. I want to play the good guys, the Alliance. The orcs were just looked
The
like
good
horrible
guys.
bad guys, and I remember still holding on to some pride because I loved the Horde because the troll axe throwers. I mean, you got to understand, this is a little kid. I was maybe in first
Go
grade.
kill.
Yeah, who'd you gonna kill? And I just thought
Yeah, that's what it was.
nothing seemed cooler than a big brute that's going to kill you by just throwing axes for a just he could throw axes for an hour. He could destroy a whole city with axes. And to me, nothing
A
seems
stone
cooler than
tower.
that.
He's just throwing at.
I know, doesn't that seem so inefficient? You go to a building and like you have an axe, throw it, throw it, throw it. But that's what made me
So
fall
now
in
the
love
building
with the
catches
Horde.
fire.
So going back to that Lord of the Rings, though, oh yeah, suddenly it catches fire with a bow and arrow. So Lord of the Rings came out, and I think that kind of cemented my Horde pride. I saw so many people saying, "We're gonna play Alliance, we're gonna play Alliance," and this wasn't online, but this is just friends who are like, "Ah, I don't like the Horde, I like the Alliance," and I kind of cemented some pride. I'm like, no, I'm Horde. I'm Horde through and through, and ever since then, I've had a Horde mentality. And my first time playing, I remember Warcraft 3 came out, and I saw it at a friend's house, and I was watching him play, and I just was the graphics. I was used to Warcraft 2, and I was like, I'm never playing
Yeah.
that game. I'll never get to play that game. It requires too good of a computer for me to play that game. My parents aren't upgrading. I have no money. I'm never playing it. And I
The,
remember seeing the dwarves had guns, and I was like, this cool. The
the
spear
portrait's
throwers.
moving. The
Yeah.
portrait's moving. That is what just. Ooh, I never thought that was possible.
It was so cool, and the characters, and I just remember looking at that game like, and I didn't get hardly any Warcraft 3, and I remember a friend mentioning the World of Warcraft coming, and that didn't make any sense to me because I was like, okay, you got Warcraft 1, which I had played, 2, 3, and then there's no Warcraft 4. There's World of Warcraft, and I was so confused by that, but I was of course intrigued. I'm like, what is this weird thing? If you had told me, it's an online game, I would not have known of what that meant because my only thing I had of online was like AOL at the time. I did not know what online game meant. So time went by, and then our neighbor, you might remember, we had a neighbor that had World of Warcraft, and we would go over every once in a while and look. And my first character I ever made, lo and behold, was a warrior, but he played Alliance, and so I could only make on that server. I could only make a horde or an alliance. A dwarf is what I made, but I could only make
I was
an
gonna say, I
alliance.
thought she was a dwarf.
So I made a dwarf warrior as my first character because everyone seems to pick the warrior first, and then they pick something else later. It's kind of the default option, and I think it is also the first one when it'll randomize your race and your gender, but I think it automatically locks onto
But you're
a
always
warrior
the.
because it's first. And so that's probably why a lot of people pick the warrior, and I think they know when they play the game and they boot it up, they immediately know, oh, a warrior, I know what that is. I mean, you can just read the little description. I know what a warrior is going to do. I don't quite know what a warlock is going to do. I don't quite know what
no.
shaman is going to do. I know what a warrior is going to do, and so you go forward with that.
Yeah, see, when I was picking my class, I shaman, mages, priests, and warlocks were all just the same thing. They're all just shooty guys. I figured a hunter was different. Okay, ranged. Okay, that makes sense. Paladin, I had no idea what that was. But I figured, okay, warrior. That sounds pretty easy to figure out. But I think that's what a lot of people think too, is when they first start. I mean, unless a friend recommends otherwise. But usually people just start with a warrior, then get to like maybe level 30, realize it's slow grinding, then they probably pick something else.
Yeah,
my first warrior, he didn't last till level like 13.
Oh, in fact,
I only had to play him at a friend's house.
I remember getting to level 5. I know specifically because I got past 4, but you can train at level 5 or at level 4, and I went training and I had to go find my trainer, and I had no idea the scale of this world. I actually assumed it was a huge world, and I was just, I couldn't believe it. And someone invited me to a group, and I thought I got because my friend, our neighbor, mentioned guilds, and I got invited to a group, and I thought I had been put in a guild. And so I was like, oh, cool, I've already got a guild. Like, I'm already moving along. Like, I'm doing pretty good in this game. And I remember I got to Ironforge, and I was just awestruck. I mean, I'd run there, and I can't even imagine what kind of a computer this was running on. We were not running this game at max graphics at this time. And I remember getting to Ironforge at this on this dwarf, and I was just walking around just awestruck. And I remember seeing a guy that was level 59, and I thought, man, he is so close to 60. And I kid you not, I whispered him and said, one more level to go. No context. So this guy just gets a message, one more level to go. I don't even think he replied, but to me, I was just like, you're so cool. And I'm like, man, you must know so much. And it was like, one more level. And I thought for sure he knows what I'm talking about. Because in his mind, he probably just wants nothing more than to reach level 60 and be the best. I just whispered him. I was a friendly dwarf, but that's all I said. And I think it was like a dwarf. He was on a ram, and I just thought the rams were so cool. I remember in the game, I actually went and found the rams just by chance. And I was looking at him. I'm like, oh, and then my neighbor was like, oh, you got to be level 40 to get those. And I was like, well, I'll never have that because the game. And then you might remember specifically. Do you remember how we were able to eventually get WoW? It was like, this was true vanilla at that point. We were able to get WoW like a year later. If you remember, our older brother was 16 and he got a job.
Something like that.
Excuse me, carbonation. And he got a job. Oh man, there you go. There's that carbonation. And he was able to get a laptop. He got an old Mac. I couldn't even tell you what kind of MacBook it was, but it was a MacBook. That was his payment for working. He worked for like a week for somebody. And I don't even think he was 16, actually. I think that's why they paid him. It was just a friend, someone from our church, was just like, hey, if you work for me, I'll pay you with this laptop. And, of course, a laptop, like, deal. So he went and worked for that laptop and got it. And then he, and if he would watch this, he might tell me, no, that's not how it happened. But this was a while back. But I know for sure he got that MacBook. I remember it exclusively. And he came home, and he told me, he's like, hey, I got this. He goes, we can play World of Warcraft. What? This is a year later. All I had wanted was to play World of Warcraft. I even had a kid at school one time ask me, hey, do you play World of Warcraft? Like, he thought I looked like somebody. I'm like, no, but I want to. and he got World of Warcraft on that thing. And the rest is history. You remember? The four of us.
I remember playing on the laptop at one point. I remember we had to take turns, and it was, okay, you've been playing for like 2 hours, it's my turn now. And I remember getting so mad that my turn was over, not because I got like I was saying that I didn't get my fair turn. Everyone, because, we're going around, everyone gets their turn.
There was definitely a hierarchy. Older brothers go first, and I'm, of course, not the oldest. And to beat us all, it wasn't our laptop, it was his. So he kind of...
Yeah.
He
took whatever you wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah, he did.
But we were happy for 20 minutes of World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah. Well, I remember when I was leveling my character. I remember I got to I could get like 1 level or 2 levels within my time frame of like 2 hours or whatever. I could get XP really quick.
And that was like
Like
you
I
were definitely under level 20, right?
Oh yeah, this was level 1. I was level 1. I just created the character, and I got to like level 5 in like a span of like 2 hours or something. Like, wow, I'm booking it. 60, here I come, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then okay, now it's not your turn anymore. Get off. I go to chores. Next day, now it's my turn. I hop on, and I only managed to get to level 8, and I'm like, oh, I got 5 levels yesterday. Whatever. And
Oh,
so
that's funny.
I thought levels were all the same. You got all the same levels. And so then one day I only got 1 level. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm not getting my fair turn because previously I got more levels. And
Oh.
so I didn't get a level at all. And they're like, okay, Jake, you're up, or JJ, you're up. And I'm like, and I put my foot down and said, no, I am going to play a little longer because I didn't get my fair turn. And I was like, pitching a fit. And like, no, you don't get it yet. You're done. And I remember they were just, our older brother was like, yeah, you're done. You're not going to get on anymore. And I was just like, oh, because he also then explained to me, yeah, experience, you have to get X amount of experience and it grows each time. And I didn't grasp that. I'm like, oh, I was gaining the same amount of experience the whole time.
They get
It just never
progressively
dawned on me.
harder. Oh, of
They get
course.
progressively harder.
Because, like, what
That
kind of
never
an
dawned on
RPG
me.
have we played at that point? We had never played an RPG.
No, zero.
The
Nothing.
closest thing we would have had to it might have been a console game like Zelda. Because at this time, I don't even think
Yeah.
we had we had a GameCube, but I mean, Super
Yeah,
Mario
we had a
Sunshine.
GameCube.
Is that gonna count?
Pikmin.
Pikmin?
Yeah, there's no levels, nothing.
No
So
RPGs.
that concept was just out of my mind. I couldn't figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So that was
That's
my
funny.
first experience of our family owning Warcraft
And then and you
or World of Warcraft.
you remember what we were playing it on though. That MacBook was running it. I mean, at bare minimum graphics. The draw distance was
Oh,
it
yeah.
felt like running around in a cloud. It was everything was the minimum.
Yeah.
And did we care? Did we even know?
I still thought it was such a world. I thought,
yeah.
wow, I can everything. And I remember being able to not see the mountains, but like you could sometimes see silhouettes or whatever. And you just kind of knew they were there, and you're like, this is such a world.
Mm-hmm.
It was the
It probably never
biggest thing
ends.
to me.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and then so from there, that's when we started playing. And you say you played your first character was a Terran shaman.
Terran Shaman. That
Do you
was my
remember
first
why you
real
picked a
character.
shaman? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I don't. I knew I wanted a Tauren. I loved Taurens. That's what I
So they were
wanted.
big and brute, big and
Big and
brutish.
brutish. And I knew that I didn't like the warrior that I first made at my friend's house. I'm like, I want something different. And I didn't. It was funny. I did not like magic. I hated magic. But I thought shamans were kind of like, oh, elemental elements. I thought, oh, that's a little cooler. Okay. And I remember you had picked a hunter, and I'm like, okay, a hunter's off limits. And I remember your younger brother, he picked a warrior, and oldest brother, he picked a warlock. And I'm like, okay, so those classes are all filled in. I don't want to have a duplicate class. I don't want that. I want everyone to have their own class.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
fine.
we
I'll pick
didn't
a
want to
shaman.
overlap. I do remember
Mm-hmm.
that.
And I remember picked a shaman, and then it was and I'm like, okay, Earth Shock, okay, that's pretty cool, whatever. Frost Shock, okay, pretty cool. And then the quests to go and get your totems. And I remember I got my first totem, and I was like, I didn't understand that they make you stronger. Like I knew that, but I didn't
Or they
really
gave you
appreciate that.
abilities. They made your
They gave you
character.
abilities.
Yeah.
I never appreciated those, but I did think it was cool. If I set this here, Earthbind. If I set this here, it'll slow them down, and this is like my area. This is my turf. And I thought, wow, that's cool. And just no one else has totems. No one else has those. No one else
Yeah,
got
you
to
got
go on
that
quests.
unique class feeling because none of your
Yeah.
brothers
No one
have
else.
what I have.
No one else. Oldest brother, he got his demons and crap, but I got
And I feel
got
like
my nature.
we can-
I was
We can address him by his screen name, Nizzle Niz.
Nizzle Niz. Yeah,
Niz.
Niz got his, and then younger brother Kodak, he got his
He
warrior.
was a warrior, a Terran warrior. Yeah.
He was a Terran warrior.
now you were 11 when we started, so
Something
that
like
means
that, yeah.
that means Kodak would have been so he would have been like 9. No, he would have been 8. He would have been 8 years old. Yeah, he didn't know what he was doing.
I didn't know what it is.
None of us
Shoot,
did.
I didn't. Oh gosh, I had no idea.
Yeah, but you didn't enter that game. You're like, okay, how am I? No, it was an adventure. It was new. It was like, who knows what you're gonna find. I remember my first character was a troll hunter.
Yeah,
I
I
picked a
remember
troll
that.
hunter, and I remember specifically I was on the phone because someone was gonna help me make my character. I had to go somewhere, and I was on the phone because I did have a cell phone at the time, and I was talking to, I don't remember who it was, if it was you, if it was somebody, but they were helping me make the character, and the name they gave me, oh man, I gotta stop drinking that carbonation. The name they gave me was, they're like, okay, what do you want to name yourself? And I was just like, well, I remember in Warcraft 2 there was a character, a troll axe thrower named Zul'jin, and I'm like,
Zul'jin.
well, name me Zul'jin, and like it says it's not available. I'm like, dang it, name me Zul'jin with two eyes. It worked, and I was Zul'jin from then on, and I still have that character. I was playing that same character like an hour ago. I still have him, and it's so cool. And for the record, we still have your Taran.
Taurus.
Yeah, Taurus. We
I'll
still
need to
have
play one
him.
day.
We will need to connect him to your account. It's not going to be easy to do because he's not. It's
Oh,
in limbo. That account has never. I mean, that was so long ago.
so long ago.
And the reason is that I'll explain why those are now separate. But that was so funny. And I remember when I first started playing, I was so bad at the game. And I say bad. I wasn't bad. I'd never played it before. I was I remember I
We
was
were
a
bad.
Duratar.
We were bad.
All right, here I am being all.
We were all bad.
Pretty
I mean,
good.
in a duel, you could always beat me, but I feel like that was just older brother status. You could always.
Yeah, and older brothers were always a few levels higher.
Yeah. It's...
I was older than you. I could hit my fingers hit the keys a little better. I remember playing in the ability Serpent Sting on Hunters. I didn't understand at first what a damage over time ability was. And so I would shoot it, and I wasn't even paying attention to the numbers. I would watch their health. And so I would shoot, I'd go in, Arcane Shot, Serpent Sting, Serpent Sting, Serpent Sting, Serpent Sting. And I wasn't watching the things. And anyway, eventually I ran out of mana, and I watched them taking damage. And I was reading it, and I was trying to understand, does this amount of time over this many seconds? I was just like, oh, it's poison. Cool. And then from then on I knew, and I hadn't figured it out. And I remember, that's all it took, though, is just that little intro to the world, and we were hooked on that. That's so funny. So I want to ask another thing though. We've kind of gone over some memories, but do you have any early memories of the game that really stood out to you?
Let's see. Early memories of the game. Freaking Barons. I remember questing the Barons. I remember it was the coolest. It was the funnest. Going from Camp Narachi, the Taran starting area, their own little small spot. Going from there, killing little quill boars, and then okay, now I'm moving up in the world. I went to Bloodhoof Village.
Real quick, I remember watching you guys quest, and you guys were of course in Mulgore. I say you guys, you and Kodak.
He and I were Tarans.
So y'all were in Mulgore, and I remember watching, and I had no idea how far you were, where you were in the world, and we saw the map. You were in the middle of Kalimdor, but I had no idea how far away that was. So it was really cool to watch, and I was just like, maybe someday I'll get to go there. Who knows? Who knows? Anything's possible in this game.
Yeah, but I remember moving from Bloodhoof, going around. I remember going to Thunderbluff. I thought Thunderbluff was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Just this the tall bluff. I thought that was a cool name, a bluff. I had to look it up. I'm like, okay, what's a bluff? A bluff's like that it's not quite a mountain, or it's not like a mountain. It's got a flat plateau at the top, and I was learning all these big words too. But I remember the elevators, and then up there, all these like Native American tarring, pretty much like that kind of feel. The music, yeah, you go up and they go up how, and you're just like, oh, that's pretty cool. Bluff watchers, everyone's walking around, all these players gathering over there. I had no idea why they were gathering. Oh, it turns out it's the auction house. I look at it and I'm like, I'll never learn what that is, which I did. But
oh, goody! Only took you how many years? Well over a decade.
We don't go into that. But I'm like, there's players. That was when I first really ran into players. Was in Thunderbuff. Not that there weren't players in Bloodhoof. I would see players running around killing things and all throughout, but everyone was running around doing their own thing. That was when I saw like how I got a grasp of how many people there are. Then And that was back now today retail, they'll give you free flight paths everywhere. You'll get a free flight path, they'll take you anywhere. Back then, if you wanted to go to Orgrimmar, you had to fetch and walk the whole way there. You had to go and walk it the whole way.
Well,
and so I'm like, okay, Thunderbluff's
cool. Thunderbluff, we didn't have enough of the computer that ran it didn't have the view distance. You couldn't actually see the bottom of the bluff, and you couldn't see the top. So you took that elevator not knowing where you were going, and then you would actually see the world disappear below you, and you go onto the bluff. It felt like you were
in the clouds.
You were in the clouds, and so the bluff just had so much of a cooler effect.
Kind of like Star Wars Cloud City, yeah, that feel. Just
keep going. I need to check something with my camera. 1 second, but keep going. I'm gonna just cut off real quick.
But I remember going to the Barrens. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm here in the Barrens, Camp Tarajo, the next one. I go into there and I'm looking, and on all sides of me are skulls. And I knew that. Okay, gray is lower than me. Green is a little lower than me. Yellow's my level. Orange, I had just grasped that. And I'm seeing reds and skulls in the Barrens because Tarajo.
Oh, because you were like level 10 and they were like 21.
12 maybe. Yeah, they were like 20 something. And I was like, skulls. I'm like, oh, these bosses? Like, what are these? And it took me a second. Oh, I will improve to get here. And I remember, I don't know who I heard it from. I think it was from you, Cabe, that Crossroads is a good place to go to. Maybe I asked around. I don't remember.
Oh, Crossroads.
But I knew full well. Oh, that cut out. I knew full well that I needed to go to Crossroads. And so I was on my way there. And again, so I stuck to the road. Oh, you stay on that road. Do not venture. I'm pretty sure I did not get followed, but I remember there was some close calls with some of the hyenas. They were just skulls. Oh, I remember going around them, and I remember being terrified that I wasn't gonna lose my character, but I didn't know where the nearest spawn graveyard was.
You had no idea what would happen.
I was back in Bloodhoof because I had died to some harpies before, so I knew the concept of that, but I was just like, strange land, and it was just so weird to me. And of course, when you look at the map of the Barrens, just this massive stretch. The Barrens is huge. And I get to Crossroads, and all these exclamation marks. I'm like, oh, cool, quests. Good way to make money. And I'm doing all these quests, and they're taking me everywhere. And I remember it was the funnest thing, to this day, this is why I love Crossroads, or the Barrens, is I'd go and do a quest, and there's people already there. And I'm like, and by then I started grasping.
Crossroads was cool because
it was the hub, the quest hub.
This was when WoW was exploding. If you remember.
Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off, but this is when WoW was exploding. Like it was
so many players.
Most of the player base. I don't have any numbers to give here, but I'm going to assume a huge percentage of players were brand new, and they were going through the same experience we were. So when I got to Crossroads, I remember specifically. I mean, I say I was walking in. I ran in, and I was watching people duel. I was watching flight masters coming in. I was watching like flying in, players flying out. I was watching players run across. It had some hustle and bustle, and
it looked very busy all the time.
And I would just remember looking around, and I was just like, "Cool." I mean, this is a lot of, because it's where the Taurens undead come there. They don't need to, but they do. Everyone goes there. They
go there because it's so much.
The whole Horde faction gathers there.
Goes Crossroads specifically, and I remember it was the fun. When I got a little older, I looked on the chat. Crossroads is under attack. Crossroads is under attack, and I'm just like, what? And I get there, and there's skulls, Alliance skulls. That was my first experience with Alliance skulls. And
hopefully, you had the sense not to attack them.
I didn't. I did not attack them. I actually, I don't know that they couldn't attack me, so I hid. I ran. I think I logged off because I thought that they would just kill me. Because I at that point I knew they would one-shot me.
Oh yeah. But, if their level is. They're not level 5. They're not level 10. They're level skull.
Yeah.
You don't need to be a pro to know that means trouble.
Yeah. Oh, and also I had a running with the Thunderlist, the Hecklefang hyenas, skulls, or at least reds or something. So I think I had been killed maybe by one of them. I don't remember, but I knew, don't mess with them. Only later did I find out they can't harm you unless you harm them. But go back to what I was talking about earlier.
Never seen before. You're right.
But go back to what about earlier. But with that, actually, with the PvP, that is when I gained an appreciation. I didn't die to any alliance, but I thought, as soon as I'm higher level, I'm going to be the one cracking skulls. I'm going to be the one going to them and picking on them because I'd see them. I'd see some people, they'd switch off, go get their mains, come in and fight them, and then other people would come in. And I do remember at one point in my life, 60 was chasing them down, and I'm running behind, and I'd just try and earth shock them or frost shock them, try to slow them down, resist, but I'd get flagged, turn around and zap me, and I die. I'm like, screw you. And I remember then I was like, okay, I'm going to be the one cracking skulls.
Someday I'll be where you stand now.
You'll hate me then. But I remember that's when I gained an appreciation of PvP. And it was because I hated the Alliance. Not because I was not a good sport. I was just like, screw you.
It was cemented so early in for all of us that we don't like the Alliance. They were just because we got so poorly treated early game because we didn't know what we were doing, and watching Crossroads get attacked. Yeah, I remember that. In fact, I think so. My earliest memory. I mean, obviously I remember earlier, but my one of the key things I remember happening was so I picked a hunter first, which is kind of funny because if you think about it, we both switched our mains.
Yeah.
So I still have that hunter, but now what class do I main? A shaman. And what class do you main?
I'm in a hunter.
A hunter.
But my ult is always a shaman.
And my ult is always a hunter.
I have a deep place for shamans because of my first one.
Yeah, we switched that. And so it's kind of funny. But anyway, I remember on this hunter, the first pet, so this would have been, as far as the in-game time, so this would have been just before Burning Crusade came out. Like, I remember seeing the first wave of Blood Elves coming into Orgrimmar. But so this was just before Burning Crusade came out. But I was a hunter, and I got the pet, which the quest to get a hunter's pet, for anyone who is new in WoW, that is like you were talking about your totem experience, that was my totem experience, where I was just like, I am unique. Because I was meleeing at this point. I would shoot up and shoot a guy a few times, and then I was in melee with him, and I didn't even know I was exclusively a ranged class. Because I told,
that's where your damage is.
Yeah, I wasn't watching the damage. I would watch their health, and I would watch my health, and I was moving around the screen, which, if you think about it, was like this big at the time. But I was watching the screen, and I wasn't paying attention. Anyway, I eventually learned, I'm like, I'm a ranged class. And like I had known that, but once I got a pet and I was able to stay at range, it was nice. But anyway, I had done the hunter quest, and I got a boar, and I was like, well, I want to get the biggest boar I could. And I knew the boars in front of Orgrimmar were huge. So I was thinking to myself, like, I'm going to go train one of those and just get the biggest boar I can. And I trained him, and because it's a low level, it shrinks down. And I was like, no, my boar! I wanted him big!
Go get a new one!
And I remember, and I was like, okay, these boars don't work. And I remember going into Orgrimmar and seeing big boars, because they were level 60 boars. And I was like, oh, so your pet must grow. But I still was a little stubborn, and I wanted a unique boar. And I kid you not, you might not remember this. Oh, and
I think I remember.
I went to Westfall at level 14.
I thought you went to Red Ridge Mountains or whatever those are.
I went to Westfall because I swam there. So I had my friend who joined with us, Denny Dust joined with us, and he was a troll warrior. And he had the game to himself. So he was able to play just a little bit more and explore a little bit more. And he told me, Cabe, you've got to see these. Actually, at the time, my name was Zoljan. But he's like, you've got to come see these Zeppelins. He's like, you got to come check out these Zeppelins. And I was like, Zeppelins? Because our view distance was so short, we didn't know to go on that side of Orgrimmar.
Yeah, go to the right a little bit, and there's the Zeppelin Tower.
And so he's like, hey, let's go. Anyway, and a little stepping back here, before this happened, by the way, I got my own account, if you remember. Because it was, I wanted to play so bad, and I didn't have...
His brother wouldn't let us.
I just didn't have enough playtime. And I remember Denny Dust his parents had a laptop. So he had a desktop, and his parents had a laptop I could play on. And they were nice enough, like, yeah, sure, you can play. So there were 2 computers there. And I would try to play, but we were sharing an account, which is actually against the terms of service. But, like, we were freaking kids. But Blizzard, what are you going to do about it? We were kids. We didn't know. We were just a bunch of kids playing on our parents' computer. Like, it was or my brother's computer. Anyway, so I was just like, I need to get my own account. And I was like level 12 at the time. And I was just like, all that work undone. Do I really want to do this? But I was like, no, I'm going to do this, get my own account. And I just begged our parents to let us have 2 WoW accounts. And like, I don't want to pay $30 a month for a game. And so I made an agreement for like some chores I was going to do so that I could play WoW. And I would have kissed their feet for this game. And so I
At the
remember
time.
now I had my own account. And I was at my friend's playing on that laptop, and the laptop could run it a little better because it was like their parents bought a nice laptop. You know, it had Windows XP on it and everything, and it had a longer view distance. And so we took those Zeppelins, and we went to Stranglethorn Vale. And he told me it was too dangerous. He's like, don't go in the woods. But he found out that there was an alliance, had a town. We were going to go to that place and try to pick fights with Alliance. And we had no idea.
What level was this?
I was 14. He was 15. Like level 14. I was the level of my age. So I was just like, well, let's do it. So it was like midnight. And we go and we jump in the water and we swim. And I remember looking down and seeing the murlocs in Stranglethorn Vale, the coral reefs, and there were skulls. And I was just like, what? And I had never been to Eastern Kingdoms at this time. I had never been to Eastern Kingdoms. And just
No Undercity
blew
or
my
anything?
mind. No, I hadn't been to Undercity. It just blew my mind that there was this whole other world, side of the world that I had never been on. I didn't know what those murlocs were. I didn't know what was in this forest other than raptors. I did see some raptors from the Zeppelin.
All you did was don't go past the fence, don't go past the
Yeah, exactly. And so what
freaking Jurassic Park.
yeah, it was dangerous, and I just didn't know. So we were swimming to Westfall. Now, mind you, we were in Alliance territory when we were too low of a level because the south side's too high. They're like level 18. And so the mobs there were too high for us. We were going through, and I remember we were just like having the hardest time. And I had that gray boar. And I remember seeing a Westfall boar, and it was the biggest boar I had seen at that point. And I actually found out later it was the same size as the previous boars, but I had been looking at my tiny gray boar in front of Orgrimmar, or in front of Orgrimmar, and I had just misjudged the size, and I'm like, those are the biggest boars in the game. Maybe when they get level 60, they'll be the biggest. Which, anyway, and I tamed those boars. And I remember in the game, they're only in Westfall. They have one other spawn location in, like, I think Razorfin Downs or something like that. So you can't get them anywhere else. So I dismissed my boar and tamed a Westfall boar at level 14 in Westfall. And so for the remainder of my experience, I was the only horde I had ever seen with that boar, and I named him Cabby. And to this day, I still have that boar. I don't really use him, but not because he's not good, but just the models have gotten so much better. He just doesn't fit. Like, I'm this high definition model in this high definition world, and you have this 2004 boar. He just doesn't fit. But I will not delete him. He will always have space in my stable because this is the boar I swam to Westfall at 1 in the morning to pick a fight with Alliance. And I remember Alliance were killing us. They were questing. I'm like, what the heck? And they just start killing us. And we did, and yeah, we ran back, and anyway, I remember taming that boar, and then we're like, let's go. And so because I was like, I gotta feed him, I don't have enough food, so we hearth back, and I feed him, and just from then on, that boar Cabby was what I had. I had the unique boar that nobody else had because nobody cared. Nobody wanted to go to Westfall to get that boar, and I just remember that was the earliest experience. From then on, WoW was like that was the only game I played. That was all I cared about. So I want to move on then. So for class, so obviously we had some very humble beginnings. We've been playing WoW on and off since. When did you quit WoW? I remember I had gone off to college, and that's when I quit. You still played for a little bit longer.
At this point, you had your account. Your brother had his account. At this point, we've upgraded our desktop, so it could actually run the game.
Yeah, that's right.
It could run it better.
Mind you, this is when Facebook came out. So our parents, particularly my mom, or our mom, had a benefit. She's like, oh, computers are now really important. She wanted an updated computer for Facebook, and so thanks to
Google
Facebook,
too.
Google
being
as
able
well,
to search stuff, a search engine.
Our previous computer to search something on Google would have been just absurd.
Yeah, why would you do that?
Oh, it would have taken too long. I remember.
And so we kind of struck a deal, kind of like you. Keep giving us the subscription. We'll do. Forgot what we had our account, me and my younger brother, and I remember
Kodak.
Me and Kodak. I remember Burning Crusade has gone out.
This is during Wrath at this point.
Yeah, this is Wrath of the Lich King.
I went off to college we're talking about 2010. So this is 6 years afterwards. Yeah. After WoW first released. This was 4 years after we started playing.
And you're asking for when I hopped out of retail.
Yeah. When did you stop playing retail? When did you lose interest?
Like it was after Lich King. Lich King had come out, and we were having fun. Lich King. I was never a raider, so I was probably
Because we couldn't play
four in
late.
Tundra.
We
No,
had
yeah,
school. We
never
couldn't
played.
play
It's
late.
school.
I remember
Yeah,
I did one. I did a little bit of ICC towards the end because I eventually got my own
yeah,
laptop, and I remember doing a little bit of ICC, and it was so late. Mom and
yeah.
Dad were coming in like, "Are you still up?" I was like, "I can't
I
keep doing this.
remember.
I'm gonna get in trouble."
I remember the only thing I really cared for was Wintergrass, and I was on
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Storm Scale was dominating. Horde dominated Wintergrasp and Storm Scale, um, and so that was what I was so proud of. And so any chance I could, I hop on getting a siege tank or something and just start blasting whatever. And it was so funny. The Alliance could never. They never had the Wintergrasp except for early in the morning or something when
Mm.
everyone was already off. That's when they could take it, and then I would hop on like either before
Hey, keep
school
going.
or
I'm gonna bust open another soda.
okay, but I forgot when they'd occasionally give, and then we just come in and just take it, and it was only defense games from then on. They try to stop us, and we just steamroll them. We'd win, but
Yeah.
that was Wrath that I loved.
By the way, I later found
Everything
out
else,
that our server was more exclusively Horde, which kind of
um,
bummed me out. Oops, it's fizzling up. It bummed me
you
out
wanted
because
it to be
I wanted to
50-50,
be
still won.
50-50 or well, it locks out a certain number of people. Anyway, I don't want to go on some Wintergrasp push. So keep. But
Yeah,
I later found out it was the server was like later when I checked a few years, it was like 60-40 server Horde to Alliance ratio, and I was like, dang it, I hope that wasn't always the case because I always felt like Horde was the underdog, and I don't mean like
yeah,
playstyle. I just mean in the lore of the game.
yeah.
I found
They're
out
always the
Elwyn
underdog.
Forest was designed first. All the Alliance areas were designed first, particularly humans, with Horde being last designed. And with that in mind, I'm like, oh, we were an afterthought, and I don't feel that way
Blizzard's
anymore.
second favorite child.
Yeah, yeah, and I
I
don't feel that
always
way.
felt that
I don't
to
feel that
this
way
day.
anymore. But
I
I
still
still
do.
I felt like the underdog, and
Yeah,
that cemented more reason to I
more
will
reason to hate them.
yeah more reason to hate them.
But going back to Wrath of the Lich King, it I don't there's still areas that I never really quested in, and it was
Oh yeah, I never touched Stone
not,
Talon my first playthrough.
oh yeah, but I don't know. I was in ice questing around. I thought zeppelins and the moving bases. I thought those were really cool.
That's
But
right.
out after that and playing some Argent Dawn, after all that, I was kind of done. And then what is it? The
StarCraft
next.
2, StarCraft 2 came out. Remember?
That's what it was. Yep, that is exactly what it was. StarCraft 2 came out, and Mom was like, "Oh, you can only have one of the two games," and we were like, "Well, we're kind of done with Warcraft.
Well,
This
she
is
also
getting less
bragged.
fun."
There's no monthly subscription for this one,
Yeah,
and she's
no,
just
that's
like,
what we said.
yeah.
Yeah, we said that. We said, "Mom, can we get this game?" And she's like, "Well, y'all can't have two games that y'all play." And we're like, "Well, this one doesn't have a monthly subscription. It's a one-time buy." And she's like, "Sold." So,
Bought you the
and
game.
also, yeah,
Unsubscribe.
she just
Wow.
bought unsubscribe WoW, and we thought, "Sick deal. This is great." We were done with WoW. It was beginning unfun. Everything was handed to you, and it just wasn't all that much fun
The
anymore.
looking for group tool that
Looking for
you
group.
when that
You
first
don't
came
have to walk
out.
anywhere.
When that first came out, I was 60, and this is when so I was a senior in high school at this point, so I had really no school taking place, and I was able to just really dedicate to the game, and I got really good at WoW. That was when I was probably my best at retail WoW. Was during I was doing ICC and everything, and I remember when that first came out, I was like, "This is cool. This is awesome. I can get groups faster."
To go.
And then as it was going, I'm like, I don't have to walk there? And I was like, well, this is convenient. But as it went, I'm like, no, I miss it. Anyway, so that's
I miss running into
I
people
quit
on the
because I
road.
went to college, but I could have played it in college. I just didn't for that same
Yeah.
reason.
I, I, yeah, I didn't want to. StarCraft 2 just, and it was a great both of them.
Yeah, gotcha.
But, and it didn't feel like the first experience that I fell in love with vanilla. I fell in love with vanilla and Burning Crusade. I loved Burning Crusade. I loved the grand of Burning Crusade. But
Oh yeah, that
I'm
was
like, I won't.
BC was really good.
In my opinion, it was a step above vanilla, but it was
Mechanically, yes, I would say
mechanically
that.
yes.
To be
And
fair,
I just Zangar Marsh. It was such a cool experience for me.
music,
The music, yeah.
the music of Zangar Marsh.
I loved Burning Crusade. I did not care that Draenei could be shamans. I was actually really
Yeah.
mad that Alliance could be shamans. I was like, That's my class, dang it.
It felt unique. I do remember.
Yeah.
Um.
But anyway,
Yeah, that was
I
cool.
just that's when I fell out was Wrath of the Lich King, and then
Well, most of our
because
game was BC. If you think about it, Burning Crusade was the
yeah,
only expansion I played the full thing
all the way
until
through.
Legion. I played all the way through Legion, but that was the only expansion I played day one to the last day of.
Yeah.
I didn't
I
actually
remember I was
pick
so
up any
behind everyone
Cataclysm,
else.
but we didn't care. You did
We didn't
not.
care.
I have
I
always said
had no
this.
desire to be the top raider. I had no desire. Not.
You didn't know what that
I,
was. Neither did I.
yeah, I had no idea.
And yeah. Oh, I always say, and I'll say this again. Rating, when people talk about Vanilla WoW, one of the first things they talk about is the rating. They're like, oh, well, the rating, oh, the rating.
Rating.
Some people say it's too easy. Some people say it's too exclusive. And I remember, like, they say it's easy mechanically. It's very hard to organize. But I remember, like, I always want to say to these people, I'm like, you did not fall in love with WoW because of the raids. You didn't know what the raids were. You did not get to 60 to raid because you didn't. I mean, maybe you did later on. Most
If
people.
you're alt, if you make an alt, oh, I'm gonna make a healer now, so I can
Yeah,
with the healer.
but
That's
everyone
alt,
had their crossroad experience, is what I call it.
yeah.
That was the this is the game for me kind of experience. Way before they even knew what rating was. And maybe rating's what kept them in the game, but the magic of WoW was never the raids. And I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody, not for me, but how could it have been? Unless you had a friend who was raiding and you got in the game, you watched them and said, I want to do that. You wouldn't have even have known about that. You played the game, I say you, but like people start the game for the world, the early experience, the leveling, and that's when they fall in love. And then when they raid later, that might keep them in the game. But I don't care about the raiding, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
I will do it, but that's not why I play WoW. I don't. I go to the raids to get gear to play WoW.
Yeah.
WoW is
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I could go off all on that, but I do have some topics I want to kind of move this along because
Yeah.
we've gone pretty good portion of this. I want to
Yeah.
ask
Next
them,
topic.
yeah. So talking about classics coming back out, as everyone,
Yes.
viewers, you might have heard that Classic WoW's coming out. If you hadn't, surprise. Classic WoW's coming out.
Spoiler.
And I mean, you and I we played Nostarius, and I remember
Private
specifically
server.
you were off at college, and I was still at college, but I was like further along. I had some time to play, and I remember specifically Rift. Did you remember Rift at all?
Nope. I was
Oh, you were off.
elsewhere.
Okay. Denny and I played. Denny Dust is one of the friends I started WoW with. He's like, because I was at college. I was in college. It's far enough. I'd been there for 2 years, and I was just like, when I first went to college, I'm like, oh, I need to push everything aside and focus. I've been there for 2 years. I'm like, I want to play a game, and I remember this was when Mr. Pandaria was out. And I was just like,
Gosh.
well, WoW's not, World of Warcraft is definitely not an option. It wasn't even
Not
an
anymore.
option. It didn't even, it was just like,
Cataclysm also killed me.
yeah, I didn't mind Cataclysm. I didn't
hated
play
it.
it, but I didn't look. I looked at it and I was like, it doesn't seem bad. I just don't want to play it. And then I saw Mr. Pandaria come out. I was like, okay, so WoW's gone.
It's dead.
And I was just not. Anyway, so we're like, we want to play something. So we played Rift because it was free and I didn't have really any money. And I liked Rift, but as I'd play it, I'm like, I played it because it reminded me of the good days of WoW. And it's of course had its problems, but I remember playing Rift, just an MMO, and I after that I had bounced to tons of MMOs. I played Lord of the Rings Online. I played all kinds of stuff, and I remember towards the end, me and Denny had peeled through these MMOs, and we were just like, Elder Scrolls Online came out. We loved Elder Scrolls Online. Like that was one of the few games that I actually had another crossroads moment when I was playing in Cyrodiil, but it didn't last. There wasn't enough after that. And we had a moment where we're just like, well, I want to play WoW, but we don't have WoW. And he's like, hey, I found out they have private servers. And we had this private server. This is before Nostarius was even out. It was called Vanilla. I don't even want to say the name of it, actually. I don't even want to say the name because I don't want to push people to it. It's awful, but it has a 15 times leveling experience.
Yeah,
Boost.
yep.
It has a boost to it. And I remember getting in and I was just like, well, I mean, how else would I enjoy it? And I'm like, this is perfect. And so I went through and I made a hunter. And I got him to 60, and I was just like going through the zones so fast, of course, because you got the XP boost. And I was like, this is so cool. And I actually through that did the raids. I did Molten Core because you could do donations and you could even vote places to like promote the server for free gold.
Oh gosh.
So I was able to, and eventually free gear. And I remember actually I did a $20 donation for gear at that point, which was, looking back, I don't know why I did that, but I was like, whatever, WoW's dead, so I'll just do this. I actually did a donation to to that server, got gear so I could raid, and I was going through these raids, and I remember thinking I wanted to heal, so made a shaman, an orc shaman, and actually that was the first time I ever made a female character. I made this old female orc shaman because I was like, well, she's gonna be some healer, and I almost kind of like put together this female tribal shaman that was just going to heal. And I was going to exclusively heal once I got to max. So I played her, and I just remember thinking, shamans are so cool, the utility they offer. And from then on, I've been a shaman. Well, then we found out about Nestorius, and he came to me the same way. Yep. He's like, there's a server that has everything, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, heck yeah, let's go. So, because I wanted the real deal. And I went in, and there were players everywhere. We could not believe it. We typed this. It had Nestorius. It had been out for a few weeks, and we just could not believe it. It was so cool. And I remember thinking, "WoW is back. I can play vanilla WoW all over again." I was pumped. Mm-hmm. And then I remember, came home and we told you about it, and I was like, "Hey, you want to play WoW again?" You're like, "I'll check it out." you were the same level of us as us, like shortly. You made.
I remember it took like 2 weeks. You were level like 20. Mm-hmm. Well, I knew I was gonna try shot. But then you're like, oh, I'm playing a shaman. I'm like, oh, Hunter seemed cool because you had fun with a hunter on retail. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'll try a hunter. And then I'm just pew pew, and I'm like, you were coaching me on it. I remember you were, because you were
there. I told you pets to get and everything.
So you gave me a real rundown. I'm like, okay, shoot back up, and then they come in, wing clip, and then run away, shoot back up. And like I had it down. Like I thought I was good.
Shoot strafe. Yeah.
Strafe. Yeah. But I was getting it down, and it was really fun. But I was like, I was just thinking, I'm like, man, this is great. This is a world. I felt like nothing was handed to you when you see someone on an epic mount. You're like, oh,
he earned that. He earned his
that
epic
crap.
Mount. He didn't just get it.
So much gold. He didn't. The Stellaris would not take
no
bribes to get stuff. You can give donations, but they only did it to run the server. They didn't pocket any of it.
That was later. When we first got in, you couldn't even donate.
Oh, you couldn't?
There wasn't even an option at first. Yeah, but it got so big, they had to open a second server, and like, this is more than we can afford. But
yeah.
Still, that was what it was.
It was impressive, but I remember just all we wanted to do was go around and fight people in Stranglethorn Vale, ST Vietnam.
In a little bit, I'm going to show some videos, some footage of us. So I want to keep this moving, but you're exactly right.
It was the most fun, and I want to tell a story of because me, Cabe, and Denny, we were the trio. So we always tried to
shaman, hunter,
warrior. So
beautiful
they
combo,
could not.
If anyone's looking, it
was great. Everyone, because you could side heal any of us, and if the tank,
utility.
I could bandage myself. And of course we only picked fights that we wanted, so 1v3. So naturally, occasionally there'd be 1v2, but the fun was
we were level 30. We killed people way higher levels than us too. We attacked everybody. I learned that. At
everyone
first I was like,
a danger to us.
I was embarrassed because I'm like, man, I feel
ganking everyone.
We're just ganking like all kinds of people. Like, we're not fighting fair. We need to fight fair. And I thought about it, I'm like, we attack everybody. Anyone who crosses our path.
I remember we did have an honor system. We had an honor system. If they're gray, they're off limits. They're worth no honor. Don't bother someone. If they're gray, they're off limits.
If they're green to red.
If they're green to red. Green, we said maybe.
Because they're honor.
They are worth honor, but maybe for green, just because it wasn't much. Yellow, totally on limits. But we had a kill on sight list. The kill on sight list, I remember it was if they're night elves, kill on sight. If they're rogues, kill on sight.
Paladins.
If they have a stupid name, paladins.
Oh yes, if they have a stupid name, kill on sight.
What was the
Paladins later became kill on sight because I was sick of paladins. To this day, I hate paladins.
Yep. To this day, I hate rogues because I was a hunter.
If their name was stupid, kill on sight.
What was it? Sugar baby something, whatever. Sugar baby
sugar
tits
baby.
Or something bad. And you're just like, you're retarded, and you just go kill them, right? But those are the last one. If they're alliancing too hard, meaning if they're ever fighting another horde, it's just, you go in and
Well,
kill
we
him.
used to have those little phrases we would say. We're just like, we'd kill him and just be like, well, if he was an alliance, it wouldn't. And Denny and I even had a macro. We'd go up and kill someone, and I would just shout, self-defense! It was self-defense!
Self-defense.
And I'd be like, you saw it, right, Denny? He goes, I saw it. He would say, I saw it. Self-defense. We had so much fun with it. Oh my
Best
goodness.
though, the best was us three were.
Oh.
And Diddy goes.
Wait,
I
hold
forgot
on. You
what.
cut out a little bit on that. So
Oh,
what were you saying?
okay.
You said the best of it, the three of us would what?
Okay, so the best of the three of us, we were in String with Vale, and someone ran by. I think it was a night elf. And love druids to pieces, but he was a night elf, and so we were just Denny immediately. He's always in front. Denny goes, get
He's
him,
the warrior.
get him. We all jump off our mounts. You frost shock, I concussion shot. He charges. We all do everything, and we're just killing him, and we just downed him. And I think maybe even a second person was at this point coming, and I saw him, and I just concussion shot
No
him
witnesses.
too. No witnesses. They going down, and we killed them, and they hadn't left their corpses yet. And a 60 runs by, and we're like, crap, we're dead. He runs by him. He
Red-handed.
doesn't stop. He just keeps going, and their corpse is here. And he kept going.
What a scumbag.
And I remember saying, and we have been PvPing so much that we got, of course, titles. And
Oh,
so
yeah,
I was
we had our
Sergeant.
PvP ranks.
I was Sergeant Tarfet, and so he kept walking, and I go, oh, my name? Oh, no, Sergeant's my first name. That's not a rank. Sergeant's my first name.
I remember we'd always joke because the title was there, it's like, because we
did
would kill
kill
people. If
PvP
they
a
had
lot.
a PvP rank, a real high PvP rank, we'd kill him for that too. Because like,
Yeah.
he kills Horde. And we'd kill him
kills
for
Horde,
that.
he's gotta die.
And so then we had to, I do remember that. Alliance would go by. If it was a 60, we'd, like, obviously our name was an indicator of what we do. No, Sergeant's just my first name.
That's my first name. And,
Obviously they didn't
just
hear us, but that was our little inside joke.
But he kept going, and I was just, dude, we were red-handed. If the tables have been switched, we walk up and some horde dead.
Oh, we kill them
So-
all the time. If we saw a high level in a low level area, like, well, you don't belong here.
always.
Boom.
I remember every time. I remember you would always say, "You are not supposed to be here." Go get him. But I remember when I was higher
Real
level.
quick, I have to have a little bit of a disclaimer. We don't just gank
I think you cut out
everybody.
a little bit.
Oh, you
Say
hear me
that
okay?
again?
Oh, we
Yeah, I
don't
hear
just
you.
gank everybody. We had a specific rule, like you were talking about. We don't kill people that are gray. We don't kill alliance that are gray. We don't kill you more than twice unless you've done something to like attack
Yeah,
us.
if you don't deserve it.
I remember we would
That
gank
goes for every
someone,
level.
and then they'd release, and we're like, well, we kind of already proved our dominance. So
This
we
is
just
horde
let 'em go.
territory. You know.
And if
Tell your
they're-
friends.
tell them who sent you. And if they were in a fight with a mob, we would let them
Oh,
kill
always
the
wait.
mob.
Yeah,
and then
you get
kill
the mob, give them a
because-
chance to loot.
They would loot it. Like, okay, you got it. Then we would attack them. Our goal was not to, unless it was. I remember towards the end we had a rule. We're like, okay, there's too many paladins in this game, but our rule was we didn't want them to stop playing.
Yeah,
Although we used to
there's a
say
difference between PvP and honorable. I don't.
you. So you're cutting out pretty bad on my end.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I good now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Go on. I was
Oh.
just saying you don't want to be a scumbag. That sucks. Because
Although-
I hated those people that camp you for no reason.
No, I never
I had
never
the-
camped.
I had those people that it was their goal in life to camp me the whole day. I'm just like, you got nothing better to do than to stealth over there and wait for me. Shadow
While
meld
you're
into the bushes.
questing.
I'm questing.
Maybe.
Bro, leave me alone.
And
What
sometimes
did
it's
I
like
do?
I had just started the day. I'm like, you can't know who I am. I didn't kill your alt or something. And
Yeah.
I do remember that. No, I made sure to not push it to the point because I realized what we had. We had a chance to play vanilla WoW again. I didn't want to ruin that, and I thought if I was too I want to say like griefing players, then it's going to prevent them from playing. They're like, I don't want
Enjoying
to play this.
the game that we love.
Yeah, and so I remember specifically if after we'd kill someone, they'd res, I would just nod them, and I'd even like I'd wave and nod like you're good. Like I want the PvP. I want I enjoy the feeling because I got ganked too all the time.
Oh
I
yeah.
like the feeling of danger. I thought that added to the game, but it was never with the goal of like making them mad. I mean, maybe I made them mad. It's a game, but like I didn't want them to hate this game. It's funny we joke about it like, oh, I hate Alliance, I hate Alliance. I want you to keep playing because if there's no alliance, what fun is
It's
that?
going to
So
kill.
yeah, please keep playing. Please play alliance. Like be the best darn alliance you can be. But like let's have some
So
contention. That's
don't be a
fun.
rogue or paladin. You're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, I want to move on to what I was kind of focusing on this
Okay.
because we're about we're almost an hour in maybe at this point, probably a little past that. I forgot to
Yeah,
set
we
a
can.
timer, but I want to ask. So, what are you going to play? You've kind of hinted to it, but what are you going to play this in through, and why are you going to play it? Like, what is your
So
goal with Classic WoW? Where whenever we get it, what is your goal?
so I have never been someone to say I liked it, but I'll try something new.
Hmm.
If unless I have no intention of really doing. If I have intentions of in-game stuff, I'm just gonna do what I loved before. I'm probably gonna play a hunter. He's probably gonna be named a Taran. He's probably gonna be a Taran. I'm probably just gonna name him Tarfet. Same copy and paste from Nostalrius. I'm probably gonna pick up skinning again. Um,
You did well with that, and hey,
I
maybe there
love
won't be a Devil
skinning.
Sword Mafia. Maybe it'll be too hard to coordinate across servers.
In Nostalrius, if y'all didn't know, I love skinning because that's
Oh
I
man,
loved going behind people. The place was busy. There's dead bodies everywhere of uh, beasts everywhere. Skinning. I could just come by and pick up everyone. I'm like, "Yeah, please leave this for me. I get all this. I got all these mats. I can make stuff. My leatherworking and skinning shot up for me doing nothing. I
mm-hmm.
loved that, and I will love that again when vanilla comes again.
Professions
But
were they meant something in
they
vanilla.
meant something.
Because
Money meant
money,
something.
having gold meant something in vanilla. I tell you, I've been playing Battle for Azeroth, and little disclaimer, I like Battle for Azeroth. I actually think the game has not been this good since, or no, not since, because the best it has ever been was in the beginning. But I haven't enjoyed the game, the retail game. It
It's
reminds me
like
of
Burning
Wrath.
Crusade or Wrath.
No, it reminds me of late Wrath of the Lich King, and I'm not saying the game. I mean, you might be able to say, well, it's very different. The only thing I really miss about Wrath of the Lich King was the talent system. But the game is good. Money is
Mm-hmm.
not worth anything to me. I don't have
Yeah.
any pressure to save money. If I want to buy heirlooms, I can just spend them. And my gold's
Yeah.
down to I have like 1,000 gold left, and I'm just like, that's okay. I'll be fine. In
Yeah.
in
It's no
vanilla,
goal.
you spent too much money.
Oh, gold meant something.
You could afford things. I remember I'd go to the auction house. I'm like, this is good, but I
Could
can't.
afford it.
I need my
I
mount.
remember the first time I had ever had money to fly was in the very beginning of the game, and when I was 60, when we were getting mounts. I
Hmm.
remember it was no, it was all 40. We were getting our mounts, and I had half the money for a mount,
I
little
do
over,
remember that.
and you had half money for a mount, and
That's
you had the idea, hey, I'll just give you my mount, or I'll give you money for my mount, so one of
we
us can have a
split it.
mount. We split it. One of us should have a mount. There's no sense for us having the money but no mount, and then you can just give me what you have, and we can you can probably earn money faster. And I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. I got my mount, went and got my Kodo. Greatest day of my life. Loved that Kodo. And then and then I remember we just racked up money. I'd go to the auction house,
Because
send
now
some
that you had a
skinny stuff.
mount, you were able to get one
Mhm.
faster. Yeah, I do remember
I
that
would do
specifically.
fishing with that mount. I can go up and down Tanaris, get
Excuse me.
fishing, stone scale eels, get stone scale eels, put them in the auction house, and you'd be like, oh, I'd send you money, and you go, hey, my mailbox is full, money, 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 and we got your mount a lot quicker, and it was really fun, but that's what I am excited to do is go through
Have
skinning and
money worth something.
have money
Yeah.
worth something. 50 gold at any level, 50 gold was real money.
Hmm.
That was actual money. 50 gold every so often. If you got 50 gold auction house stuff, that stacked so fast.
Yeah,
I remember.
absolutely.
I'll never forget. I had recently gotten 60. I had my 40 mount. I'd been saving up. I had been preparing for this, and I had been selling all kinds of stuff. Well, I was doing something. Someone requested something in trade chat, and this is another thing why I love like major cities is you go in there and you look on the chat, and there's obviously people talking about politics, people making fun of everyone other or whatever, but then there's the people who are looking for a group, looking to work, all of these people, and I thought that was just so hustle and bustle and so much fun. I love that. But I would always go in, experienced tribal leatherworker looking for work, and I'd post that a lot. And I would say, hey, I can make I forget what it was I was offering, but I can make this item. And someone said, hey, I have the material for that. And I was so close to getting my epic mount. I only needed one more thing. And guys like, hey, I have the material. Can I give you that and I can pay you a service? Sure. I did that, put it all together. I needed to go to the auction house, get some blood vines or something. Forgot what I needed. But I did that, got everything together, built it. He gave me that. I gave him like some actually, which I thought was so cool. I felt like such a businessman. I give him like 100 gold collateral or whatever, build the item, switch, and then he's like, hey, here's like $30 or 30 gold tip or something, whatever it was. I forget the details, but I remember that is what tipped it. I now have enough money for my epic. And I remember messaging him, hey bro, thanks. Just want to let you know, you just got me my epic mount. I now have enough money for my epic. And he salutes me and he's like, cheers/cheer. And he goes,
because he knew what that meant.
He knew what that meant. He's like, bro, that's so great. Go get it, man.
Awesome.
Go get it, boy. And I was like, yes, I ran, I got it. And I remember going through Orgrimmar just, oh man, I got my epic mount. Just me and that Kodo. Oh, it was so much fun.
Awesome. Well, I mean, we keep. It's funny because we start talking about it and we keep going down memory lane. I'm trying to keep on. I made some kind of points I wanted to go over. It's like we just want to talk about WoW. That's the whole point of this podcast. But no, that's awesome. Like you want to play Terran Hunter because that's what you did well last time.
That's what I did.
I could talk so long about that.
I would rather play something and get better at that, and be sucky at that. I would rather just fine tune and be the best hunter. I don't need the best gear. I don't plan to give that much time. Mm-hmm. I just want people to be like, wow, that was a pretty good, like Upper Blackrock Spire. You need a good hunter to do that. Every time they say hunter, they say, hunter, do you know how to do it? I always go, yeah, I do. I can do the run.
Yeah, but for any who don't know, Upper Blackrock Spire is the last boss he's
Drac.
There's
no, I sound like that Drac.
Yeah, the last boss has two minions with him. He has two like kind of henchmen with
guards.
him. Guards, and the really only way to get the fight. I mean, maybe not the only way, but a much easier way to get the fight is to have someone. A mage can do it, but hunter's the best for it. Have someone pull the boss and just run to the very end of the dungeon. And what better than a hunter? And what the hunter will do is shoot him. And then, I mean, but shoot him, cheetah, and run. And I don't even know where you went. I would just watch you go. And then when you kill the mobs, and then you would fake dead, hoping it didn't resist. And then he'd turn back to the group.
You never did?
And he would go to the healers, and the tanks had to be ready. And you were
healers had to be away from the door.
We can go into detail for that. I don't want to cut you off because these are such good stories, but I want to more specifically talk about some news that you might not actually know about that has recently come up.
Go for it.
Yeah, so we'll move to another segment. So for everyone, that's a little bit of our history with the game, where we come from. And I might have explained this a few times before, but I'm playing a troll shaman. I don't actually know what I'm going to play this time through. Like for someone who knows exactly what he's going to play, I have no idea what I'm going to play. So I'm going to play a troll shaman. How I'm going to play him, I have no idea. I don't know if I'm going to try to do enhancement and just focus on PvP. I don't know if I'm going to try to do support. I don't know if I want to do a full resto. I have no idea. They all seem fun. So I'm going to plan that as we go. So that's my take
as you level.
As I level. And plenty of time. I love the leveling process
so much fun.
Of Classic.
To me, there's a leveling spec, and then it's so easy. Just Beast Mastery for leveling, because all NPCs do is go for your pet anyway. So just Beast Mastery, it's so good for questing, and Beast Mastery is really good for PvP too.
Beast Mastery is fantastic. I'll probably levels enhancement, although part of me is a little tempted to try leveling as a enhancement elemental hybrid because I love elemental. But anyway, we can maybe we can get onto that topic another time in the future. Have a little more to talk about.
Sure.
So going into the news, I have two pieces of information that might be interesting to you. You might not know this, but Classic Azeroth, we got messaged by, I don't know if I mentioned this to you at all, but our Facebook page got messaged by a guy named John Stats, and he claimed to be a WoW dev. Everyone knows who he is, or many people know who he is now, but at the time I had not heard of him. He's a WoW dev from the very beginning of WoW. He got hired at the very beginning of World of Warcraft, where Blizzard was like, hey, we're creating this game, MMO, and he got hired. And this was a time when, this was in I guess this would have been 2002 maybe. I don't know exactly the time this was, but about 2002, level design. He was in charge of level design. And at the time, 3D games were very new. Blizzard had never done a 3D game. I mean, technically, Warcraft 3 was 2.5D, but it was not the same kind of 3D as regular WoW.
Yeah.
So he was very new to this field, and so they paid him as a level designer. They hired him, as a level designer. And so anyway, he had messaged us. He's like, "Hey, I'm writing a book, I'm kind of putting a diary together." He's calling it the World of Warcraft Diary, and he's like, do you mind if I promote my Kickstarter here when the time comes? And I'm like, yeah, of course, totally. And I'm like, if this is a actual thing, and I believed him, I'm like, if this is a real thing, then absolutely, like, I'll buy that book. Sounds incredible. I'd love to get some insight like that. I've always wondered things like that about WoW. So cool. Anyway, well, I'd seen him around Twitter, and he had just kind of he had talked to a lot of people, and so I saw a podcast with him, an interview with him by Def Camp. I think it's Def Camp in Malderon. They did I don't know, I've told you about them before, but they did an interview with him, and it just seemed like a really cool guy. Anyway, my point of bringing this up is he started a Kickstarter to pledge and had a goal of $10,000 to start to get these books out there. So you could pledge money and then get a book, or you had different pledges and everything. And he was trying to raise some money. So his goal was $10,000, and he was able to raise much more than that very quickly. And I just want to have you guess. So he started a goal to get $10,000 and within a month of funding so he could publish this book. And guess how much money he was able to get? And he is 5 days in. So his goal was $10,000.
15?
He has $216,000 raised. I have it here on my tablet. Right now, he has 25 days to go. And the reason this is significant, because I saw that and I'm just like, he hasn't even messaged me, by the way. He's like, he hasn't tried to promote it. He doesn't need to. It's huge. And, we're a small page, so like, he doesn't have a need to. Well, I'm looking at this here and I'm just like, oh my goodness, John, good for you. And my point of bringing this up is not to promote it, although that's awesome if it does.
Yeah.
But my point is this should be a significant indicator of how much hype there is for World of Warcraft Classic. What this means is there are some people that are just itching for World of Warcraft Classic right now. They cannot wait for the official game. This is just a tribute to that, or a testimony to that. And I really hope Blizzard is watching right now. I hope Blizzard sees that and goes, they really want this. Because the book, of course, is cool, but you think this book would be half as popular if Blizzard never announced Classic? No, people are thirsty for Classic WoW. And I don't have any way of proving it, but I'm sure that this is a testimony to that claim.
Yeah, I feel like there has been a
116,000
Classic WoW famine, and this is what people want. I think so anyway.
And it tells you how much respect they have, or not respect, how much appreciation they have for the game, that they want to get this depth, because get this in depth from the game and its development, because he had talked about, I remember in the interview that I saw, he had talked about his goals of like what they originally wanted with the game. They didn't know what they were doing. They thought it was going to be more like Diablo, and he kept a journal as he went. And this book is kind of a compilation of that journal. He says, he has a description on his Kickstarter, but it was the journals composed together. He was able to write this book from all this, and he talks about these ideas they had, and he wasn't very specific. He didn't give a lot of details of what he wanted, but before they put together Wailing Caverns, they originally intended there to be a Terran exclusive dungeon. Not exclusive for Terrans, but it was all Terrans. But I don't know if he means like it was... I didn't know what he meant by it at the time. The game was so raw, he could have actually meant it was only for Tarrans. I don't know what he meant, but he said a Tarran exclusive dungeon, like, because it was a Native American themed. He's like, we really like that Native American theme, and so we're gonna have a Tarran exclusive dungeon. So I didn't know if it was gonna be maybe the tribes.
Like Tarrans are allowed inside, or
No, I guess what makes more sense is like the Tauren that are in the aggressive Tauren that are in Stone Talon Mountain.
Grim Totem.
Grim Totems. I think it might have been something along those lines. It'll have more details in the book, but eventually they're like, well, they had too many dungeons, and so they had to scale back and just do Wailing Caverns. But it's like details like that you never think about. You're like, I did not know that. That's so cool. And
I'd run that dungeon.
I'd run that dungeon. That's super cool. So, and you can still see Wailing Caverns has kind of a Tarn theme because it's got the Tarn in the front, and it has the Druid theme, so it has Night Elves as well. But still kind of held a little bit of that. I guess it got inspiration. And I'm sorry if I'm explaining this to our viewers kind of vaguely, but he didn't give a whole lot of detail. I'm sure there's more detail in his book, but I'm just saying content like that is really cool. And people want to see this because they have a respect for the game. I honestly, if they had a Mist of Pandaria similar book, I don't think we would care as much as a community. So good for him. Just another reminder that people really have some respect and appreciation for Classic WoW. I just cannot believe he has earned almost $250,000 in funding. Good for him. I want him to earn more. Like he's got a book people want. I hope to see this go to the moon and back. So, and that's going on. And in another piece of news, check this out. Did you know that right now, Battle for Azeroth is Blizzard's fastest selling expansion?
Really?
It has been their fastest selling expansion. So faster than Cataclysm, which had the most players, but faster than everything else, Battle for Azeroth. And so I'm just like, this is pretty cool because, I mean, doesn't the game kind of feel like they're taking it back to its roots? Not the gameplay, like the mechanics aren't, but the theme.
Warcraft 2 is all about humans versus, it's like...
It even said on the cover box, Warcraft 2, the battle continues. The battle for Azeroth continues over sea, air, and land. The battle for Azeroth. And so they, I'm kind of just making this as a guess, but I wonder if it's possible that because the reason I play retail right now, I honestly don't think I would be playing retail if Classic hadn't been announced, because I really want to play Classic. I can't really play Classic. I won't do private servers anymore. I don't want to play another server that's going to, all my work is going to get just erased. I'm not doing that again. I want to kind of harness this and this desire to play WoW and wait until I can just go full in with a permanent character on a real server that I can post videos for and just do everything on. So anyway, but I'm like, well, I want to play something, so I'm playing Battle for Azeroth, and I do like it, but there's so much of it that makes me go, I just wish this was retail. And and it just builds hype for me, so it's like it's fun because I feel like there's something more soon to come. So if there wasn't Classic, I don't think I'd be playing Battle for Azeroth. And I wonder how many other people are in a similar boat. They're wanting to play Classic, they can't, so they play Battle for Azeroth. They're still, because they know they're getting their game soon. I don't have any numbers, but I bet you there's a good population that are like that. So I kind of attribute the success of Battle to Azeroth could potentially be connected to the enthusiasm everyone has for Classic WoW. So this might come as a shock to people, but I think Classic WoW is going to be successful.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really great.
For sure. So those are the two pieces of news that I wanted to bring up to just our viewers, bring up to you. So pretty cool. Any thoughts you have on that?
No, Cabe. I think I'm good. I would tell everyone I'm very excited for Vanilla WoW. I'm excited to see the world, like, I don't know, in the world that I fell in love with. I hate cataclysms. Burning stretch through the Barrens.
And it's still there.
It's still there. Like, the flames are still there. And I'm just like, who is fueling this? Is it that hot? And I don't know. I don't like the world.
There's still a tornado in Westfall. That tornado. There's still a tornado. There's still an active erupting volcano in Ashenvale.
Yeah.
There are still some
Lord
drowned
Pyro
lizards.
Or whatever.
Yeah, or Magna, whatever his name was. There's still, if you go to Durotar, there's those thunder lizards. They're still drowned. And you're like...
And not decayed into skeletons yet.
I think as far as a lore perspective, they need to have a Cataclysm 2.0. I don't want to go too off topic with this, but I think they need to have a Cataclysm 2.0 where they don't. I know this is a very difficult for a design phase because they can't just turn it down. They have to redesign it. But I think they should have just a settled moment where the Cataclysm settles. The tornadoes stop. The lava dries up. Keep the cracks. Keep everything the way it was. That volcano.
I have bridges in some areas, like over the Barrens. Bridge continues Gold Road. Like, come on, I don't know.
Yeah, add bridges. Just chill out the Cataclysm, and you still go to the quest, and they're like, the recent Cataclysm has shaken us up, and you're like, no, there has been the Cataclysm. So that was in 2010. That was 8 years ago. We have been post Cataclysm. There's been more time post Cataclysm than pre Cataclysm.
Yeah.
Just kind of like think about that. Like it is that cow in Westfall is still being in that tornado. He's been there for 8 years. Chill, chill it down, Blizzard. But anyway, that's it.
I'm just excited to see the game.
The old way.
I'm excited to have money be actually valuable. I'm excited to go to Crossroads or Orgrimmar, Thunderbluff, and just see players busy. If you want to go somewhere, if you don't have a flight path for there, you got to book it and go. You got to actually go, and you got to meet people on the road. That's where you find your battles with players, other players. Like an alliance crosses your path, you're like, kill them. Like that's fun to me. You never had that. Now it's you're walking. If you're flagged, 120 flies down, kills you instantly, and then they fly off. And you're just like, what was that? That's what PvP's come to now. I mean, Battlegrounds aside, Battlegrounds are completely. But
Battlegrounds are still good. I agree.
I love world PvP. That's what I loved. And in vanilla, I never that if I got killed, I will never get to there. I will never get in his position. I always thought it's only a level difference. I will get to you eventually. And when it was me versus another 60, then it was a skill set. It wasn't even gear at that point. If I was just better than them, I would do it. Or if it was Cave, like you and me, we fought a Grand Marshal. Like clearly
we did. We beat him.
We beat him. We smoked him.
It was 2-on-1, but like
it was 2-on-1, of course. But you were also AFK for a portion of it. But because
I think gear was not. I mean, I feel like and I don't mean to cut you off, but like I just want to throw in a thought here. Gear in Battle for Azeroth, or in Legion particularly, I felt like if I ran into someone and he had higher gear than me, I remember we had a similar scenario where we were both max level. We were fairly new to 110, but we were still 110, and we ran into just a warrior. I don't know his gear. How could I have known his gear? Transmogged it. And I remember specifically he fought us and just destroyed us. And I don't even mean like that. By the end of the fight, he still had 100% health because he managed to self-heal all of our damage. And we're like, that was
what could we have done?
That was like that wasn't compared to vanilla. I mean, the gear difference wasn't that much. I mean, maybe someone could like pull out some statistics and say, oh, well, there was this. I never felt like that. Even when I run into people that had Grand Marshal gear or some Tier 2 gear, I could fight them. I could almost. There was still a chance.
Well, here's a thing that also kind of.
Let's give one more thought on this. I want to hear your thoughts, and then I'm going to move to the third segment.
It's like what we were talking about before. I remember we were in Burning Steps, and we were level 40 or 50 or whatever it was. In level 60, we were the bullies. The three of us, you, me, and Denny, we were the bullies.
We
were at 60. We were at 60. Of course, there's three of us. But could you imagine in retail being 10 or 20 levels below max cap, and they had some good armor? Do you think you could take three? You would one-shot all three of them if this was retail.
No.
In vanilla, you had to watch your step.
Such a drastic difference afterwards.
Yeah.
The game had turned into...
It's such a difference.
The game had turned into you reach max level, then you play the game. In vanilla, it was not that way.
We were the bullies at level 50. Well, when it was the three of us, of course.
I never felt like a bully, but I definitely felt like a top dog because we had numbers. That's how we would play.
Yeah.
The three of us were always together, and I always did well because we were together. There was a warrior, a hunter, and a shaman, always playing together, and it just felt like we were tough stuff. And we had our rule of ethics. Like we did not ruin people's play style, and a lot of times, anyway, I want to actually show some. Yeah, we could talk about this for hours, and we already almost have. I think we're about an hour and a half in, but I want
to show some videos. I want to see some of these videos.
I want to pull up. So I've got these videos pulled up. I'm gonna have to change the screen sharing method. So turn off my camera. And screen share.
Now, will they be able to hear you, or is it just me?
All right,
Whoa.
one moment. So can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
All right, well, let me pull up a video for you. So I've got a few videos selected here of some previous fights we had. I'm going to try to... we're not going to have any sound on these, but let me know if you can see this properly.
I can see it.
All right, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for our viewers.
You can't max screen?
I could, but I want it to be a little bit... okay, there you go. Does that look good for you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty good, yep.
So this is... I remember...
There's no sound?
No, there's no sound. I can do sound, but it's us rambling. We're talking about like friends and this, like we talk about real life a lot in the game, so I don't want to include that. But I remember
I understand.
we're in a party here. We're in Fellwood, and I'm 54. I imagine you're 54, 55, because you did get to 60 a little bit before me.
Yeah.
Hunter
I think I
privilege.
Hunter's level fast.
I had moved during this time, and when I moved, I wasn't able to play as much. So I remember we were... Let's fill up. Okay, so here's you. You're flexing as always. So we met together. And if you remember what happened here specifically, and real quick before I show this to the viewers, this is kind of the excitement that Classic WoW offered. Was just the world PvP was fantastic. I think we were out here looking for regents or materials. I don't remember what
you were getting a flower. You were picking a flower.
Maybe I was doing herbalism.
Maybe, but I remember there was a plant that actually I think it was...
Okay. Yeah, see, there it is. We're picking up these plants, and so as we're going, killing this mob, and okay, I picked it up, and you couldn't get it. Maybe it was a quest. And then right about here, I went ahead of you. And watch here on the screen. Watch your portrait. You'll watch. And let me turn some sound on for our viewers. They'll get a little bit of this.
Yeah.
It'll get a little jumbly.
I love this.
So listen to this.
There's two of them. The first one's a buff. It's really good. Oh, hey, help.
You're going, help.
Coming. What is it?
It's rogue.
60 rogue.
Get off.
60 rogue. Always a rogue. Freaking hate rogues. They die every time.
Oh, I'm so embarrassed by what we just start shouting in this because I'm just rambling.
Stay on him.
Yeah, we were pretty disorganized. I'm just jumping around.
Ah, he keeps resisting.
And I remember...
Stay on him.
Here's this alliance. I'm like, no, we're dead.
No, heal myself.
The lights just kept walking.
Okay,
if you notice, I keep messing up my heal.
No.
I'm trying to do Ghost Wolf.
No,
I had just switched my key bindings. I had changed up my where my buttons were, and I was hitting the wrong buttons, and I was like panicking, like, no, I need to get on this rogue.
Okay, I'll heal you. Go. Hit.
So I'm healing you as you're fighting this rogue, and at this point, he's
Stay on him.
Oh no, you.
I'm losing.
Slow, keep him.
At this point, he's just like, okay, I'm done. I can't do this. He's booking it, and you're pounding on him, and at this point, we've got him. And mind you, that rogue opened on us. He got the open. Now he's dead. So funny. And the reason this stood out to me is because this was how things went. If this was Battle for Azeroth or Legion, and again, I don't hate those expansions, but I'm just saying, if it was a 110 hit us and we were like, say I was 104 and you were 100, you're 53. So if you were 103, there would be no fight. It would literally
just be one shot.
Just got some background noise, comment on a video. It would just be a complete slaughter. It wouldn't even be a fight. But in here, you can hold your own against people that are higher level than you, and we just had so much fun with fights like this. Let me see if I can pull up another one. Let's see, we have some lower... Here's one that's a 2v2. So, I think this is right at the start. Let me see.
I loved ice trapping people. That was my favorite.
This is mid-fight. Because I only caught the end of this recording, but just so I'm a elemental, and you're marksman at this point. No, are we 60? No, we're not 60 because this guy's a yellow. So yeah, you were beast mastery still. I think we've gotten a just crazy fight. So took this one out. Then we have this paladin, and let me pause it real quick. Let this be a tribute of why I cannot stand paladins. They are so hard to kill, and they can still deal so much damage. So let's go. I'm sure there's some paladin viewers viewing this right now. Like, you're hard to kill. You're a shaman. You're OP. But you know what? Whatever. Something I loved about shamans was the utility. I could heal you. I could fight her. I mean, I could just do a little bit of all of it. Oh man, burning her down. Doesn't she lay on of hands or bubble or something? I remember we had a hard time with this. No, we burned her down. Oh, just killed her. And look at this alliance here. He's just like... He just sees that she died. Nope. He... What does he do? He goes the other way. He's like, never mind. Something I loved about Ngoro was there were no paths. You had to just fight your own way through. I love that one. Okay, let's see what else I have. Battle on the Beach. This is us. There were some lower levels, but we fought all these...
Oh, is this the one? Which one is this?
I have it saved as Battle on the Beach.
Okay. I think I remember this one. We were just staring at each other.
We're just like, let's go. They're
Go,
lower
go,
levels,
go.
but every time I watch these videos, I'm like, you know what I should have done? I should have done this, and you can't. So get on her. Sheeps you.
I got polymorph.
But watch this. You got hit. The other mage hit you. Oh, drink a potion, and here we go. Mages are no problem, man.
Oh yeah.
I love Beast Wrath. That is just the best. See, I needed to turn on him, but
I think I tried to wing clip him right there. I tried to, but I think he
had blessing. I should have turned and fought him, but anyway, we got him down. Oh, he bubbles. That's right. Does he get away? No, I don't think. Let's see. Oh, it ends. Okay, he's the one. He ran to the guards, and he still had aggro, so he died from the guards.
Yeah, he still had aggro on him.
All right, let me pull up another one. Let's see. Winter Spring. This was a fight if there had ever been a fight. Whoop, wrong one. Let me pull that back up.
Do you want me to turn off my screen?
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and do that, that'd be a little easier.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, so here we are in Winter Spring. We're doing a quest on some elite mobs, and this got a little crazy. So we're way low for it, as you can tell by our level, but we're just going for it anyway.
Oh, this one. I remember this one.
So you had to fight these elite cats. Did we burn that one down?
We did some. I think that one was.
Let me
one?
Let me pull up another video. That was part 2. This might have been. Nope, that was the correct one. I apologize. Let me pull that back. I had planned these out before. Okay, so as it's going, we fight these cats. So I think we just got some of the nearby mobs, but we actually had to do the quest. So there's alliance around us. We're a little bit nervous, but either way, we're still ready for this.
Yeah, because it's difficult to engage a mob and then expect the
So we have 2 hunters.
and the mob.
There we go. Let's see, a level 59 elite. Oh, why did he go after me? And I'm trying to hit Trimmer Totem. I'm like, why did I not lay down Trimmer Totem?
I don't think we knew that it feared.
I did not know. Resisting.
Why am I meleeing?
I think he was on you. Oh, save him.
Oh wait, is that a separate Terran?
No, that's a different Terran. Yeah. Oh, okay. You thought that was you. No, there was a Terran shaman with us.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
You're in the back shooting. So
I'm
we're just
like, I
getting
don't
killed
remember
by
having-
these pets.
Mm-hmm.
These cats.
Yep.
And then it gets worse because there's a paladin who runs by and he's geared and I'm like, okay. And then there's a 60 hunter on me. Oh my goodness. And I'm being feared. So I'm dead, but I'm a shaman, so it's okay. And we're like, all right, that's it. We're fighting this. We're not having this.
Oh, I was so mad. Because we wouldn't have done the same.
No, because that's the rule. You let them finish their quest, then you kill them.
Yeah.
So then we turn on him, and I'm able to get full health. He's like, oh my gosh, these lightning bolts are hurting. We're still getting feared. Oh, and I remember...
there I am. I'm on the Alliance.
This only took... Oh yeah, we burned him down.
I was so mad at him.
It's funny because this only took like a few minutes, but in game it felt like forever. It was so stressful. I was like, holy crap.
And there's my dog. I don't know if my dog had growl on him or yet. I turn it on.
You probably did, but I think he was earth shocking.
Oh, okay.
And that's why. He was
Pets
enhanced.
can sometimes tank for a short time.
Oh, absolutely they can. You did that plenty of times. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I've got another video for us. Let me see what this one is. Oh, this is just a fight on the road.
Oh, that's where I was talking about where I always... No, my first name is...
I included this footage in a recent video of my shaman guide. I included this because I think I hit somebody so hard. No, maybe this isn't the one. I don't know. No, we just started attacking Alliance because they just come by on the roads. So this is us being bullies. Look at that damage, man. I love Wind Fury.
Concussion shot.
You got the stun.
Put a poison on him.
Yeah, I can. Oh yeah, she's got the ice barrier. she was probably so mad. She's like, I'm
Wing
just
clip.
questing. I watch these videos and I feel like, okay, we were kind of jerks. And then in round 2,
Another one walks by.
boom.
Oh, I thought I wing clipped there.
Yeah,
Oh, well.
it's all good. We got a slow.
Maybe they're just out of range. There. Okay.
And then the
Yeah,
stun.
intimidation. There it is.
Boom, Wind Fury.
Oh. Yeah, your Wind Fury. When those hit hard.
They hit hard. I know. I really want to play Enhancement, but at the same time, I really want to play Elemental. But at the same time, I really want to play Restoration. Oh, you can't win. Okay. And then I think I've got just one more. This one was a lot of fun. We're talking about a lot. We're in this cave. You remember these quests though?
Yeah.
Going in these hives. I thought these were so cool because it felt like it was just the location like this was so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's
I
turn on
remember
some
in
sound.
this one, I remember I had just said, yeah, I always like to put a trap at just in case.
That's right. In fact, I think you say it. So we're aware of the danger of
I'm not
alliance.
sending Django.
Alright, it's not that tough in here, but
Oh, okay.
You can't
whatever
hear
makes
it,
you
but
feel
the
better.
sound's going.
Hey, you see those massive insect alien things? Yeah, let's go in their hive. Okay.
We're just chatting.
Hey, I have a quest for you, and I'll give you 50 silver.
Ah,
Go
deal.
in their hive.
What do I have now? I've got something else.
So I assume this is a hive.
Skip a little further ahead. I think it's where you say you like to leave
Yeah.
a trap at the front.
Yep, here we go, scraping. I got the sample.
Go a little further up.
Yeah, it's somewhere up there.
Husk fragment.
So we were going to drink, and I think that's why you left. Because what you would used to do, let me pause this. What you used to do is anytime we would drink, you would lay a trap and a flare.
A flare.
So we could be a little bit safer. And I know
It's
there
rogues, because I hated rogues.
were times when rogues would walk into it, and we're like, holy crap, you never know where a rogue is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm drinking.
I'm a little embarrassed because you can't hear it, but some of the nonsense in these videos, like we would just jabber about stuff, like we are just talking about, and I'm sitting here taking a drink, and I just say to you in the thing, I go, I'm drinking. All right, let's get to the conclusion of this video. Oh yeah, you laid the trap, and they just walk in. We're like, what
Fight?
the? Let's go.
Who do we take out first?
This is Warlock.
Warlock.
Yeah, go. Come on, Trimmer Totem.
I don't think
let me take it
the
off.
other lines
Yeah.
did anything, did
I guess not.
Got the other girl.
I just
don't
saw
remember
I
that
saw
just
two
now.
of
Through
them.
the ice.
Yeah.
Ah, we got her.
Hold on, real quick. When she dies,
Got her. Yeah.
Got the other girl.
She's
Oh,
not
she
getting
slipped
out.
through the ice.
do you remember when they would fake dead? What we used to say when a enemy hunter, an alliance hunter would fake dead? What we used to say?
I don't remember.
What we'd always do is she'd die, or at least I used to say it. Maybe you would just roll your eyes when I kept saying it. But I'd always go, oh, like she would fake dead. I'm like, we got her, we're done. All right, let's go home. It's like what we'd joke, like we fell for the fake dead. Like, oh, she's dead. Okay, we're done. So here we go. And she's not really dead. She has the same wolf as you. That's kind of cool.
I just realized that.
The wolves were so good. Anyway, so we got them too. I'm afraid there's some viewers that are watching this going, you guys were the worst. And we're like, look, there were two of them. They were our level. It was a fair fight.
It's
Like,
self-defense.
I would have done that exact same thing.
Self-defense.
Oh my goodness. So let me do. All right. So, well, that is what we have. We have definitely gone the allotted amount of time I wanted to give this video. So, fantastic. So everyone, this is our conclusion to our first ever podcast, Kalimdor Cast. We are Classic Azeroth, and we are just, our goal is to build a community, to build hype for the game. I mean, there's really no shortage of hype, but we felt like we have so much to talk about. We wanted to kind of lend a voice to the community, and we thought this podcast would be a great way to do it. If you want to see more content from us, we have, and I'll link them here down below. But if you want to see some further content from us, we always have we have the Facebook group, Azeroth. You can find us on Twitter at Classic Azeroth, and we're always talking about the game and just enjoy the discussion. So I'm Cabe Biken, and really looking forward to Classic. JJ, you got anything else to conclude with?
No, just let us know if there's anything else we want. Let us know in the comments.
A lot of that got cut out. You wanted to give that one more time?
I guess my internet. If there's anything you want to talk about, let us know in the comments or whatever. Give us feedback, what maybe we can improve on, and share your stories too.
Yeah, and if we're saying something wrong where you're like, hey, no, that's not how it went, or something like that, call us out. Like, this was years ago. We want to remember it all. I've had so many times where I've said something and someone's been like, actually, it was like this. And I'm like, oh, I didn't remember that. So we love the discussion. So if you like it, just let us know. Let us leave a comment, whatever you want. We enjoy the discussion. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next time.